Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another review. Today we got something really special we're going to take a look at today. Earlier today I went to a Target and found a couple of good figures that I found. One that I've been really looking for, and then one I decided to get just because it is one I needed. But today we're going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Hammond Collection Mutadon. And holy cow, I am super stoked to have this in my collection now. This is one figure that I was dying to get my hands on, ever since it was revealed and ever since it started to show up in like Targets, and a lot of people have been finding them. I haven't had luck for like this past, weeks or so. But luckily I went to a Target today, a different Target than I usually go to, and there it was, a whole bunch of them sitting on the shelf. And yeah, I am super happy to have this in hand now. This thing looks awesome. I love the Mutadons from Jurassic World Rebirth, and I'm just really glad to have this in hands now. So yeah, in addition to this, I did also find the Jurassic World Survival Vespersaurus. This one I've been needing because it's a new species I didn't have, so I decided to grab this one as well. But we'll take a look at that in the next review. But today we're going to be taking a look at the Mutadon. So taking a look at the box right here, it's your standard, box for the Hammond Collection, for the smaller figures. You got the True Effects logo right there, Mutadon, Hammond Collection, Mattel 8+. You got a really nice render of the Mutadon from Rebirth, which looks awesome right here. I really do like that, and you can see a bit more of the render on the other side. You got the Hammond Collection logo on this side. And on the other side, you got, again, the Hammond Collection logo, the cool Jurassic World Rebirth logo to show you what movie this creature is from, and a really cool looking little bio with a nice little picture of the Mutadon from the movie. This is the part when they first show themselves and they, land on the ground and scare our main characters. And then you got a really cool looking description here that says, when Ruben Delgado and his family desperately hide for cover in a gas station, the Mutadons are fiercely unpredictable and unrelenting while searching for them, which is, pretty true, because the Mutadons are pretty much a good threat at that part of the movie. Kind of replacing the Velociraptors, I guess, and they are pretty intelligent and pretty unpredictable as well. So, yeah, they're essentially just raptors with wings, but they're pretty terrifying at that too. So, really cool little description there. And here on the back, you got the Jurassic World Rebirth logo, Hammond Collection, Mutadon, in the same description we got before, and a couple of nice little renders of the figure. I also really love how this figure has like two different sets of hands or arms. You got one with its wings folded and one with its wings open, so it can like fly and all that. So that is really cool. I can't wait to get a closer look at that. Then here on the back, you got some other information right here. Get the Mattel logo, the True Effects branding again, and the others in this small dinosaur Hammond Collection lineup, which now we finally have all three, the Hypsilophodon, Dilophosaurus, and the Mutadon. I already did reviews of these past ones right here, so go ahead and check those out if you guys haven't. And then here we got the Mutadon. So yeah, pretty much it for the packaging. Let's go ahead, head into daytime, and let's take a look at this awesome figure. Alrighty, so here we have the Hammond Collection Mutadon out of the box. And as you can see, there are a lot of pieces that come out with this one. There are like 3 wings that are detached in the figure that you take out, plus the tail. So you have to attach the tail, and then you can attach the wings any way you like, because these are detachable or interchangeable wings, but we'll get into that later in the review. And yeah, here we have it, the Hammond Collection Mutadon in all of its glory. And I love what we have going on here. I really do love this figure. I think Mattel captured the look of the Mutadons very nicely with this figure, and not just in terms of the sculpt or the detail and the colors, but just, I don't know, just something about it. I think Mattel did a really nice job on this one. Now, it's not, I wouldn't say it's 100% accurate to what we got in the film, but overall, I think Mattel did a pretty good job, regardless with this figure. I think they captured the look of it pretty nicely, in my opinion. So yeah, I really do like what's going on here. I might even have to get a second one later on down the line, just because, I don't know, it's just such a great looking figure. And the interchangeable wings, and just, it's so cool. So let's get into it. Let's take a closer look at the detailing that we have going on here. Really great detailing all over the figure. So this one's not actually covered in scales like most other Mattel figures. This one's actually covered in more of like this lined texture all over the body, except for the face right here, which is pretty interesting. It's like, I guess, as you can see here on the face, it's covered in really tiny, fine-looking scales all over the head on this one, which is really nice. Mattel did a nice job with the scales. Mattel always does a good job with their scales, that detail in their figures. So the scales look really great on this one, very fine, and yeah, they just look really nice. I really do like the way it looks. The rest of the detailing here on the head looks really good with the little shape and the eye ridges all over the skull right here, which looks really good. And I like how the scales look on those as well. The beak looks really nice as well. Looks more like a beak here from the side than from the front. And then I like these little scratch marks that it has on the side of the face. I think Mattel did a really nice job with that, because you don't see those on the other side. So that's really cool. It's got some like little damage sculpted in, which I might even have to paint in like a fleshy color just to kind of make it feel a bit more complete or make it pop or something like that. But yeah, I do like the detailing all over the head right here. I will say the teeth actually look really good on this one. Sometimes the teeth can feel a bit more blotched together, for lack of a better term, but the teeth actually look really good on here. They don't look molded in like one piece. They look separately molded or sculpted here, and they actually look fairly sharp. I know they're not really going to be sharp, but they do get the job done at giving off the illusion that they are sharp teeth, and they look really nice. Interestingly, there doesn't seem to be any teeth here at the bottom of the jaw right here, because it looks like there's a little notch right here between the beak and the rest of the face, which on the previous figures does seem to have like these two little like tusk looking teeth sticking out right here that would kind of overlap or interlock into that little notch when the mouth is closed. So surprisingly, it doesn't have it on the Hammond Collection figure, but it's present on all the other figures of the Mutadons, which is pretty interesting, because even in the film it does have these little tusk looking teeth at the bottom right here. So pretty interesting there. I do like these little side teeth right here jutting out from the side of the lower jaw. Like they're not even aligned with the rest of the mouth. They're just like sticking up on like the side of like the cheek, like just below where like the lips would be, which is very interesting. Kind of adds to like that mutant look to it. Like it's not very pretty to look at. Like it has like all these deformities like sticking out from its face and all that. So I really do like the way that looks. The tongue looks pretty good too. Not a whole lot of detail on it, but it does look nicely sculpted. I mean, you can tell it's a tongue. On the roof of the mouth, you got some nice detailing and like little grooves at the top roof of the mouth right there. You got the little gum flaps on the inside of the mouth as well, which looks pretty nice. And yeah, like I said, the entire head sculpt right here is just covered in like tiny, fine sculpted scales, which looks really good. And you got some nice little bumpy little scoots at the top of the head right here, which is pretty nice. I do like that. And then the rest of the body is just covered in this lined texture that you can see all over the body, which is really cool, because it kind of gives off, it reminds me of how the velociraptors looked in the first Jurassic Park trilogy, where they weren't really covered in scales like what we got later on in like the World trilogy, but they're just like covered in just lined detail, just lined texturing all over the skin. That's pretty much what we got on this Mutadon figure, which I do believe the JP3 Raptors were inspiration for the texture in the skin for the Mutadons. So I guess that makes sense how Mattel gave it the line texture and all that. So I really do like the line texturing. It looks really nice, especially here around the big throat pouch area and down the body. You got some nice little detailing right here, with the stretch marks in the skin, just the overall nice basic detail that we got going on there. And then here at the top, you got a nice little ridge kind of going along the back right here. You can kind of see where some of the muscles kind of poke through the skin on this like really thick neck. Kind of shows you how powerful these animals are, despite the the dangling throat pouch that you see right there, especially in the film. I like these little bumps on the back right here. You can see like its spinal column just kind of sticking out of the skin, and a bit more muscle definition here where the rest of the bones are in the shoulders or the shoulder blade and whatnot. But really do like the detailing there. And here at the back, got some nice detailing you know, little grooves on the throughout the rest of the body, kind of like where like maybe some muscles might be, how it kind of overlaps, how the skin overlaps and all that. So, but yeah, really nice detail through there. And I really do like how the legs look. You got really nice muscle definition throughout the legs, very muscular, very raptor-like from the franchise, and it's covered in like this nice lined texture all throughout the entirety of the leg, which looks really good. And even if you get down to the feet look really good. It's like your classic dromaeosaur raptor feet, which look really good. Again, whatever scientist thought it was a good idea to give raptor wings, I have no idea. As if raptors were already dangerous enough. But still, really cool detail on the feet. I do like how sharp looking the claws look. They have like that really cool, intimidating, sharp look, which is really good. Even though they don't actually feel sharp, I just do like how Mattel is able to kind of give off the illusion that they are very sharp. And the detailing for the rest of the foot looks really good. Nice wrinkly line texture. And I do like the little ridges that go up on the toes. And I do like how the dew claw kind of sticks out like that too. That's really cool. And then the bottoms of the feet, really nice detail in the texturing, you know, for the bottom of the feet. And you get the little Jurassic logo here on this foot. And then the rest of the body is just covered in like this line texturing that you get pretty much for the entirety, all the way to the tip of the tail. So yeah, the detail in there is really nice. Moving on to the wings look really great as well. You got a bit more of like that line texture on the arms as well as the hands, and this little third finger that kind of stretches back to support the wing membrane. You can even see that as well on the underside. Nice detailing in the line texture on the actual fingers, hands, and the arms of the Mutadon. And the wings themselves, though, or at least the wing membrane, looks really good. It really does remind me of bat wings. It has like that leathery look to it, which is really cool. And I really do like the detail, you know, the little line details that we have on here. It's not like the lines details that you get like on the body, but just these seem very, very vein-like. It has like all these like veins in the wings, kind of like what you get with a bat and all that, which is really cool. I really do like the detailing on the wings. Mattel did a really nice job with that. I also love the little wrinkles in the wings as well. They're very wrinkly because you can see those folds in the wings, and the shading, depending on your light source, kind of highlights those little dents in the wings, so that is really nice. I really do like that. You can even see the same thing here on the other side. Very great detail here with the vein looking look for the wings right here. So I really do like that. And I also love how the wings are kind of made of somewhat of a softer plastic material, which kind of makes the wings feel a bit more realistic because they're very flimsy. So I really do like that. And the hands here look really great as well. The two-fingered hands, and the claws look really good too, really nice and sharp looking. So I really do like that. And yeah, sculpt work wise, this figure is amazing. I love what we got with this Mutadon. Now moving on to colors. The colors are really good too. Again, they're not very accurate to what we get in the film, but the way how it's applied, I can definitely tell Mattel was going a bit more, or I guess they're trying to match closer to what we got in the film rather than what we got on the other Mutadon figures, like the battle damage ones and then the strike attack ones. Those ones aren't very close to the film at all because they're just like a plain dark color with like a colorful portion of the head, which actually is a really cool look. But if you want to go for accuracy, those are not very accurate. Mattel actually, you know, attempted to have a bit more of an accurate paint sculpt and with the way the paint is applied on this figure. So I really do like this brown that you got for like the darker portion of the body for the top half, here at the top of the head, down the neck, and down the rest of the body, and even down the rest of the tail. And even that same brown color is covering the majority, or actually all of the leg, all of the leg and the feet and all that. And you got a little bit of that going down the arms as well, that dark brown color. And then you got a different shade of a brown for the tip of the wings right here, which I do like how it's a different shade than what we got on the here because it makes it stand out, which is really nice. Sadly, we don't get that on the other half of the wings, but at least we do get it on the top half. And then you got this beige color for the underside from the lower jaw and the bottom of the neck and the body, and it pretty much goes down till about right here. and then it stops. Really nice. I like how it contrasts with the dark color on the top. You know, got light and dark. I guess some counter shading, I guess is what you call it. And I do like you got that on the arms as well, which is actually kind of striped on there. I think actually the wings are actually this beige color. It's just this dark brown that's kind of striped onto the wings, which the striping or the splotching on the arms look really good. I really do like the way the colors look on the wings, or the arms right here. So I do like the contrast between the light and the dark colors and how it kind of stripes or splotches on the arms. It looks really good. Sadly, we don't get any like this dark color for the wings, or for the hands slash fingers. And then you got like a different shade of a beige color that kind of stripes or splotches on the side of the neck and a little bit above the wings, kind of capturing like that one look that you get in the film where it has like this splotchy black patterns on the side of the face. So I think Mattel attempted that very nicely on this side of the figure. It's not as good on the other side. It's very it's not as much as what you get on the other side. So but you do got a little bit of like that splotchiness with the different shade of like that beige color, which looks pretty good. But again, I really do like the way it looks on this side. I think it looks really good. And like I said before, the splotching between the light and dark colors just looks so good on this Mutadon. Just as good as it looked in the film itself. And then with that, you even got like a different shade of a beige color for the teeth, which is actually probably a bit more of like a yellowish beige, I would say, for the teeth. So again, it makes it stand out between the other different beige shades that we got. And the teeth are painted very nicely. You got like a different shade of a pink, kind of more of like a pale shade of pink, I would say, or some sort of pale fleshy color, I would say, for the tongue, the roof of the mouth, as well as the two gum flaps on the side of the jaws right there. So that looks really good. At least the inside of the mouth is painted. The eyes look really good as well. It's like this orangish yellowish color for the eyes with a black pupil, and they stand out very nicely. And for not being glass eyes, they do look really nice. So I really do like the way the eyes look. Now, quickly before we move on to everything else, I'm gonna go over some little inaccuracies, I guess maybe slight little nitpicks that I have with this figure. First off, I feel like the head is a little too wide. It's not very narrow like the Mutadons are portrayed in the film. They are definitely very narrow, which actually kind of helps give off like that, or show off that really dangerous, you know, hook-like beak at the tip of the mouth, which you can kind of get that from the side. But when you look at it from the front, you don't really get that. It's a bit more rounded out and just very blunt and all that. So I really do wish the head wasn't super wide, but it's not, I guess, the worst thing in the world. And of course, I would have liked nice to see the little tusk-looking teeth that kind of stick out at the bottom right here, so they can interlock with the little notch up there where the beak is. Other inaccuracies, I really do wish that the fingers had little ridges on them, kind of like what you got with the feet, because it definitely had those in the film itself. The other thing is kind of with the wings. The wings definitely should have been a bit longer, because the Mutadon in the film had pretty good sized wings. It had a pretty good wingspan. So it would have been nice to kind of see that extended a bit further. But again, I don't know if you're going to be able to fit it in a tiny little package like that. So I don't know, maybe Mattel did that on purpose. I don't really know. But actually with that too, the Mutadon has two fingers right here, and then it has the third finger, but actually it's not just a single rod that you see here. As you go down in the film, there's like a little claw that sticks out at the side right here, which I guess counts as the third finger, and then it transitions into the rest of this part of the wing, which just kind of sticks out, which is a very interesting look for a winged animal. But it would have been really nice to see that little claw stick out like that, or sculpted into this figure. So it is a little unfortunate that the Hammond Collection figure doesn't really have it, and none of the other mainline ones have it too. So actually, I was pretty much surprised that the Mutadon Hammond Collection is pretty much the same sculpt as the mainline ones. You would think it would be maybe a tad bit more movie accurate in a way, but still overall it still looks pretty good for what it is. Another thing too, I really wish that the rest of the leg was painted in this beige color, and it has like this brown striping going down the leg, because it does have stripes on its leg in the film, Even same with the tail. Would have been nice to see this tail covered in like this beige color with the brown kind of striping in. Again, that would make it feel a bit more accurate to what we got in the film, because I think the striping looks pretty good on the arms and the side of the neck right there. So it would have been nice to kind of see that applied to the legs and the tail itself. Another thing is, I do wish that the claws on the hands and the feet were painted, because it is a little strange how, you know, on the Velociraptors and the Dilophosaurus and even the Hypsilophodon, and also like the Ornitholestes and the Mosaurus, their claws on the hands and feet are all painted, and yet for this Hammond Collection figure, the claws are not painted. So it is a little disappointing, especially for a Hammond Collection figure, that the claws are not painted. I would have really loved to see them painted. It would have made it feel a bit more complete, especially for it being a Hammond Collection figure. Like, I don't expect the claws to be painted on a mainline figure, but for a Hammond Collection figure, I do expect them to be painted. I mean, it makes sense for something like the Dryosaurus. The hands on that dinosaur are like super small, so I guess it makes sense for the claws not to be painted on that one. But for this one, the claws are very well visible, and it would have been nice to see them painted. So I don't know if it's like a budget thing. It could have been. So if it is, then, you know, I'm not gonna hate Mattel for it. But yeah, it would have been nice to see the claws painted. But again, all these little nitpicks I have aren't going against this figure, or me liking this figure. I still love this figure regardless. Just giving off like my own opinions and all that. You know, another little thing too, would have been nice to see a bit of more of a red shade, a very light shade on the bottom of the throat pouch and a little bit at the tip of the tail, because you do see a little bit of that on the Mutadons in the film, especially if you look at its renders online. So, but yeah, it is what it is. Still, despite all those inaccuracies, I still love the way this figure looks. Now, moving on to articulation. The articulation is really good on this one. So you got a little hinge at the jaw right here, which opens and closes. I do wish the jaws were able to open a bit further. This is basically as far as they go. So it would have been nice to see the jaws continue to open up a bit more wider. And then you got a nice little joint here at the base of the neck, which is actually on a ball joint. So you can move it left and right, have it like look in different poses, which is really cool. You can make it look up about that far, and you can make it look down a little bit. You can also make it swivel. So that is really cool. I love these little ball joints that they add to these figures. It just adds, you know, to the posability, and you can get them in a lot of cool poses that some other dinosaurs you can't really get. So I really do like that. The wings, or at least the arms right here at the shoulder, they can pivot in or up and down just like that, as well as rotate. The wrists right here can move down about that far, which is really cool. I like that little look, and you can have it stick up like that. So I think it's really cool how the hands have articulation instead of just being stuck in a normal position. So I really do like that, and I do appreciate that. So Mattel did really good on that. And that's pretty much it for the wings themselves. Then moving on to the legs, here at the thigh right here, it can move forward and backwards. It can't really pivot in and out. I mean, I guess it can a little bit, but not a whole lot. And here at the knee joint, it can move forward and backwards, just like that. And it can't really swivel. It's a little bit tight on mine, so I'm not gonna force it. That's a really dangerous thing to do. And then you got an ankle joint, which I really do love how these newer Hammond Collection figures have more ankle joints. It just makes posability so much more easier to get them into different poses. You're kind of limited when it didn't have ankle joints, but I really do like the ankle joints nowadays. So that looks really nice, forward and backwards, as well as rotate, which is really nice. And then you get on to the rest of the foot, which, much like the previous Hammond Collection figures, can just move up and down, as well as swivel. So really nice swivel right there to get some really nice posing and balancing done. So really nice there. And then for the tail, it can move side to side, up and down, as well as rotate. And it also has a bendy wire in it, much like the other Hammond Collection dinosaurs. So really nice there, really nice detailing with this figure. I really do like the articulation and the colors and all that. So yeah, as we can see, it does come with different interchangeable wings, which is awesome, instead of just being limited to only one. So as you can see, these two wings are the closed wings, and these two are the open wings. So these are the ones you can have out, so you can have it posed flying, or it's, you know, intimidating other rivals, you know, with its wings out or something. But really cool here. The wings look pretty much the same to what you get here. The same colors with the beige and the dark colors, the striping, the brown at the tip of the wings. So it's really nice. Again, would have been nice to see the claws painted and some more color on the bottom of the wings, but still, they do look really nice. I think probably the biggest nitpick for me is how short the wings are. The arms are pretty good length, but again, it needs to be a bit more longer. Again, you got to have that little claw that sticks out, and then the rest of the wing, because it has a really big wingspan. So I do wish that the wings were a bit longer on this one. It would have been really cool to see that. But it is made of like that softer, you know, material, so which kind of gives it like that leathery wing feel to it. So that's really cool. And putting these wings on is actually very easy. So you can just take it off just like that. Get the little pig hole and all that, and then you can put them in here just like that. So as you can see, you got two different wings on. You can even like mix and match them like that. Like, that is really cool. I love how a lot of these newer Hammond collections have like different accessories that you can, you know, basically customize like your own version of a dinosaur. So that's really cool. And there we go. Here we have the Mutadon in his flying pose, and that looks really good. It's an overall a pretty decent wingspan. Again, it would have been better if it was like super big, but it's not that bad actually. It's not terrible, but again, it could have been better for sure. I'm not really liking how warped or bent this wing is. Again, it's already comes out like that in the packaging, and I've seen a lot of reviews of the Mutadon online that had the same thing, so it might be just the way how it's, you know, inserted into the box and all that. But I really do not like the little crinkleness that we have in the wing right here. I'm not sure if there's a way to fix it, maybe like heat it up or something, but still, it's still a wing. So here it is. I really do like that. You can even like pull the legs back if you want and have it like fly around and jump on raptors and attack them and all that. So that looks really cool. I really do like the open wings on this one. And I gotta say, the balancing is really nice on this one. Again, it kind of depends on how you position the legs and all that, because that kind of determines, you know, if it's gonna balance very well or if it's gonna keep on falling off. But at least on this table, the way I have it right now with the wings open and it's standing like that, that is really cool. That's some really good balancing skills, which actually we're gonna jump into some size comparisons right now. Here we got a Hammond Collection human. We got Dr. Alan Grant. And as you can see, the sizing is pretty nice. I think the Mutadons were a tad bit bigger. I think they were definitely a tad bit taller than a human for sure. Yep, and there it goes, it falls. I spoke too soon, I guess, but yeah. But as we can see, I think the Mutadon could have been a tad bit bigger. But overall, it's actually not a very bad scaling right here next to a human. So overall, I do think they do look pretty nice together. And finally, here we have the Mutadon compared with two other Hammond Collection raptors. We got the Pyroraptor and the Velociraptor. Now, the Velociraptor makes sense considering that the Mutadon does have Velociraptor DNA in it. And yeah, they look really good together. Having all of these in the Hammond Collection compared next to one another, this is just so cool. I love the Hammond Collection. I think it's one of the best things to happen in terms of a Jurassic toy line. So yeah, I love what we got going on here. You got a really crazy mutant hybrid, and then you got two real species right next to it, all sharing the same toe claw and all that. And yeah, these just look really good next to each other. So I really do like what we got going on here. All right, everyone. So that's about to wrap it up for this review. For my final thoughts on this figure, I really love this Hammond Collection Mutadon. Despite some of its inaccuracies and all that, I really do love this figure, and I'm really glad that Mattel decided to make the Mutadon, especially this quickly, considering that the movie just came out last year. And yeah, I am very happy with how this turned out. I really love the detailing, you know, the sculpt. I really do like the colors and how they're applied on this one. Very closer to the movie than the previous figures we've gotten from Mattel in terms of the Mutadons. And the articulation and the interchangeable wings. I just love this figure so much. And I do highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Rebirth in general, and if you really like the Mutadons, I do recommend picking up this figure. because it's got really great, articulation and really cool posability and, playability, I guess, in some way, with the changeable wings and the articulation and all that, though. But yeah, I really do like what we got here. I'm just really happy to have it. I definitely would like to get a second one down the line for sure. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.